Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Just want to show you, I got another query, a bit of a lengthy one from somebody from a contact form that you can get on my blog here. Just come under contact us and send out your message here. It comes out to me directly. So I get a couple of those a week. I've now put this under my FAQ section, which is basically a knowledge base for frequently asked questions, and you can go through all that here. Anyways, let's go on to this specific question. Now, it's already 2 questions already. It's a bunch of questions actually, but let me just give you a rundown of what this person's history is. These are really valuable for not just this person, but also for others. That's why I do this. So. And I've been building out this knowledge base for a good couple of months now. So here's his situation. Hey Brian, while searching a data collector called Q Collector Expert, I came across old YouTube videos of yours. I cannot locate any new updated videos regarding Q Collector. I'd like to ask you for your help, which we're going to do right now. I'd like to collect and store tick, minute, hour, blah, blah, blah for spot FX pairs. Previously used ESignal Advanced Get and the ESignal Manager. The problem is the standard monthly data subscriptions from ESignal only provides about 40 days of tick data. I plot 55 pip range bar date. Sorry, my reading's bad. My bar chart come up on history, hence Q Collector program or any other program like it. I like to store my NAS drive, NAS drive, and populate the charts as well as NinjaTrader charts. Since most new add-ins or plugins work in NinjaTrader, Q Collector is a program my only choice. Do you know of any other programs? We're going to talk about this in a little bit. Can you steer me towards instructional videos on how to set up the data storage and data links to upload the data back into NinjaTrader and ESignal charts via the ESignal Data Manager? Okay, so the Q Collector, I'm not sure if it's been abandoned. I think it's being still sold. The site's up. I'll show that in a minute. I personally use IQFeed. That's what I know, and I'll show you Q Collector in a minute. Not used it in a while. So let me show you. When you do a search on Q Collector, you'll come across 2 versions. There's the ESignal and the DTN version. This version is the one that this person is referring to. You can see the last update was May 2011, so it's quite old. Also, there's a DTN IQFeed version as well. Okay. So let's talk about this. So if you come into my blog, in terms of information, if you type in Q Collector, you may get some information, and not a whole lot, but I will tell you I do have it in my my membership under my Elite. I've done various demos of this and how to house data. This software, if you're using the DTN version, is perfect for this. Reason being, you can use IQFeed. I think it goes, all your tick data goes far back as 9 years. I mean, it's insane. Q Collector will collect the data very quickly, literally in seconds. Just provide the symbol. This is a Windows program. It has some other functionality in it. And it's not too expensive. You can actually try it out, but I believe it's about $150, 130 US. So that's pretty good. And obviously you need the DTN IQFeed subscription. So let's talk about the different options you have available. When I first looked at both IQFeed versus ESignal a few years ago, I found ESignal was very limited. It was double the price of what you get with IQFeed. So I kind of really threw out the concept of wanting to use ESignal. It wasn't even really on my radar. But then I came across IQFeed, who I really like. You're probably going to see more updated information on using IQFeed in coming weeks, probably in coming days maybe, who knows. but they are fairly expensive. But when you factor in the quality of the data and the unlimited amount of info you can get based upon who you sign up with and what exchange and so on and so forth, this is fairly cheap compared to something like a Bloomberg or a Reuters. You're going to spend over $1,000 a month. This will run you for a couple $100, and it's just as good. And when you start using a tool like Q Collector to house your data in CSV files, comma separated files, or just ASCII text files, apparently can use Metastock, but I don't use Metastock. This is really good. I do also know that the Q Collector can be used for, if you still have a legacy version of TradeLink, you can use it there, no problem as well. Okay, so let's talk about, so we've talked about ESignal, we've talked about IQFeed. Now here's the one gotcha with IQFeed. You're paying a monthly fee. If you're using a tool like Q Collector, you don't need anything more outside of the subscription fees and the exchange fees that you're going to pay with using IQFeed. But if you are planning to use the API of IQFeed, there is an annual fee of a couple $100, and you will be able to use it with popular language like Java, C++, and .NET. So that is going to open up a lot of doors for you and your platform. Now, as for me, you know my options now are moving off of Windows technologies just due to trustworthy backdoor Windows 10, who knows, I don't care, I'm moving off of Windows, I've had enough security, I go on and on about it. So what I've started to do is to try to look for other options. Now here's the gotcha. With Q Collector, it's a Windows-based program. If you're using DTN, I do believe their server piece that you need to have on your system to connect into the gateway of IQFeed is Windows-based. Everything else can be Java, so you could use Java to connect into that Windows piece if you decide to work with IQFeed. So those are some of the gotchas if you are trying to follow what I'm doing by getting off of Windows. Okay, and there's a lot of, believe me, a lot of developers feeling the same way. They've been moving off of Windows for many years now. Part of that movement as well now. Okay, so don't get me wrong, if you're willing to stick around in Windows, this is an awesome tool, service to stay with. It's IQFeed and look into Q Collector. Okay, now let's get back to this person's query on NinjaTrader. Now, I'm not here to knock NinjaTrader. I've got countless, dozens upon dozens of developers, traders that hit all kinds of technical walls with things like NinjaTrader, multi-charts, TradeStation, and so on and so forth. From what I've gathered, NinjaTrader's following in suit with TradeStation. So they're trying to become also and evolve into a broker. So I'm not. If I was a NinjaTrader user, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. They may still be open to just stay as a platform. I don't know, but either way, these tools are very limiting. That's why I like using things like MATLAB, C, C++. If you are a qualified programmer and have the technical chops to do that, it's a very good option. So I don't use NinjaTrader or any of the other bigger retail trading platforms, including Metastock or MetaTrader and all these guys. Okay, so that's number one. So with the options that are provided using the APIs that are delivered from something like IQFeed, you can definitely still use Q Collector, no problem. But moving into a charting system or into a live trading system, IQFeed's still beneficial, so we're still there. Now, we've talked about ESignal, we've talked about IQFeed. Now, from all the insiders I've talked to, say the same thing. I know I'm going to be using Interactive Brokers as my broker. All the insiders tell me the same thing. You always want to use the data from your broker. because it's in sync with the broker. If you use something like IQFeed and then use the data coming through IQFeed, and then you're turning around and you're making trading decisions and pushing them through into Interactive Brokers, you could be out of sync if you're trying to be more high speed, because we're getting close to that where we're able to push data and orders very quickly through channels like Interactive Brokers. Okay, so knowing that, let's talk about the data that's provided by Interactive Brokers. Back in the day, I believe with Interactive Brokers, you fund an account with Interactive Brokers of $10,000 US, you get all the data for free. But times have changed maybe, but here are the fees. So, you know, they're not cheap, some of them on the exchanges. ICE, CME board, $85. They're sort of in line with IQFeed. Now, I'm not here to do price comparison between the two. But you are paying with Interactive Brokers, so you may be best just to stick it out with Interactive Brokers for your data on top of, if you're using them as your broker. If you're just using IQFeed for just back testing and building out trading strategies, this is definitely the way to go. But if you do start to go into an automated fashion using order management through something like Interactive Brokers, this is who your data provider is going to need to be. So these are your options. But again, Q Collector is really good for housing your data if it's coming from either IQFeed or ESignal. Now, the question is solutions. For me, right now, I'm looking at two databases. One for like a in-memory, memory cache, whatever you want to call it, using NoSQL technologies. I'm using Redis for that. So I'm building that out now. Not only that, I'm looking at using Redis as a message queuing, because it has failover, redundancy, and clustering capabilities now in the new Redis 3 for time series, exactly for this type of data, wherever it comes from. If it's Q Collector, sorry, if it's ESignal or IQFeed or Interactive Brokers. But because I'm trying to move off of Windows, I'm very limited by either using Java or C++. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is I'm also using a database known as Postgres, which is an open source database for enterprise, which is a little easier to work with and doesn't have the Oracle watching over it in the other world of something called MySQL. Over the years, I've seen Oracle kind of butcher MySQL, the quality of it. That's why Maria and I think it's Julia have been forked out of MySQL because of that. But at the end of the day, I like Postgres, and I'm moving that for more position management, position reconciliation, and other typical data store needs. So that's my direction. Because you're using something like Ninja Trader, I still think this is the way to go. I don't know of any other solutions, but at the time Q Collector was great, and I think it's still very useful as long as it still works. I don't see why it wouldn't work, but it's early days for me right now to talk about where I'll end up in terms of trying to bridge and house all this data in a Linux environment using something like IQFeed or Interactive Brokers. If I decide to stay with IQFeed, I guess I still have to have a Windows box somewhere or a virtual machine to be able to have my components talk and connect into it. But that's one, I don't want to say disadvantage, but with Interactive Brokers, and we've confirmed this, if you do decide to use Interactive Brokers data, you're not going to be challenged by that limitation if you do want to move off of Windows. So you can use the Trader Workstation software from Interactive Brokers in a Linux environment and still use the Java API in a 100% Mac or Linux environment with no need of Windows. again, this is probably something I'm looking at because just from my perspective, the world of good developers, especially in trading, are moving off of Windows. And back in the day, when I looked at Linux, the world of interactive brokers and Linux was just pure crap, basically. But you know, good 3-4 years ago, where it was interactive brokers, TWS was like a year behind the Windows version of TWS. But lately, I don't know when they made this change, but the versions of TWS on Mac, on Linux, and Windows are fairly are pretty well in sync, which is good. But back in the day, the versions were out of sync and usually too far behind. Also, the POSIX version of the API for C++ sucks. That's why we use Java in Linux. So that is the direction I'm leaning towards, and I'm hopefully going to have some positive results coming out of that as we investigate that further. So hopefully I can answer this person's series of questions on Q Collector, and more specifically on ESignal, IQFeed, and Interactive Brokers. If you want my choice, right now I'm going to probably treat Interactive Brokers itself. If you want just pure historical or backtesting data in and only pretty well in Windows, IQFeed's your other choice. As I said, ESignal is something I didn't even look at, as you can see by the limitations that they also provide here. Anyways, just wanted to put that out there. If I'm wrong, let me know. Put a comment in my YouTube video and blah, blah, blah. I'll talk to you later. Bye.